They'll tell you on October 7th, 1,200 Israelis were slaughtered, and they put babies in ovens and beheaded babies, and there were mass rapes and all this other shit. They'll tell you all the sensational shit, but they won't tell you about the 100 years damn near of war. They won't tell you about the illegal occupation. They won't tell you about the blockades. They won't tell you about all the Palestinian prisoners that are being held without charge, how they're being occupied by a government that doesn't even give them a right to vote, but they call it democracy.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to insert myself because I don't want us to talk past each other because these conversations have a tendency to do that. So I'm going to ask both of you a critical question that both of you guys already launched. Josh, to you first. Dave's contention, and Dave, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that the nuclear program was not a threat, correct? That it was a intel push. Would you even say that? I'm strong-manning your argument, steel-manning it. Josh, what do you have to say to that, to the veracity of the claim that there was an imminent threat of Iran getting a nuclear bomb? That is a core point of Dave's argument. Then, Dave, I'm going to throw back an equally difficult question for you. Josh.
Okay, so I profess agnosticism as to the imminent nature, Charlie, because I have not seen the reports. Neither have you, neither has Dave. Literally, no one in this room has actually seen the report. So I do not know literally what the exactly imminent nature of the threat was. It would be impossible for me to say. I'm not going to bullshit you and pretend like I know because I simply don't know. What I can say is the following. Iran has transparently and obviously been trying to acquire a nuclear weapon for 2.5, 3 decades. We know this for approximately 1 to 2 million different reasons. Among them that we can point to is that the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Administration, which is essentially the nuclear watchdog for the United Nations, they have been sounding the alarm about this, and they have said very loudly and clearly that Iran has blocked their inspectors from going to inspect their enriched uranium, and that they have concluded.
Yeah, that's because the United States stopped holding up its end of the deal. Yo, see, that's the thing, bro. Wow. This guy's literally not giving full context. When the nuclear deal first happened, okay? When the nuclear deal first happened, Iran was spot on with adhering to the rules and regulations. And the reason why is because Iran wanted to get off the sanction list. So they had a very strong incentive to comply with all the rules, okay? So the reason why they stopped complying is because we stopped complying first. When we pulled out of the nuclear deal, right, there was certain things put in place where Iran would be able to break certain requirements if we broke ours first. And since we pulled out of the deal and broke our agreements, Iran was able to break their agreements and still be within the deal. It's a very complex deal, chat. Okay, you know, Scott Horn, guys that are like very well versed in this agreement understand it better. But the point you guys need to know is simply this when I explain it in layman's terms. Just like I did with the economics. I try to keep it simple for you guys, right? It's very simple. Nuclear deal basically stipulated that they would enrich at a certain level, not to exceed past a certain level, so that it would stay at a civilian level. Does that make sense? So they would enrich uranium to a very minor degree that is appropriate for energy purposes, civilian energy purposes, okay? And the IAEA would be the inspecting body that would oversee. This deal, the JCPOA originally, was done through the United States, Russia, France, Iran, and I think I might be missing a country or two, right? So there was international oversight where Iran was opening up their nuclear facilities for inspection. It wasn't until the United States broke off the deal that Iran started to back away from their obligations. Because what is the point of them adhering to the deal if they're not going to get the sanctions removed? The only reason why they participated in the deal was because they wanted the sanctions removed. We had crippling sanctions on them that greatly affected their ability to do business with other countries. So if there's no incentive to stay in the deal because we walked out, of course they're going to break their end. And the fact that this guy will not tell you guys that, all he's telling you is that, oh, Iran wasn't adhering to the JCPOA and they weren't letting inspectors in. Yeah, because we broke our deal first. And this is what I hate when these fucking Zionists always do this shit. They'll tell you guys the end result, but they won't tell you how the fuck they got there.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Oh, we've been persecuted, oy vey. Oh my God. It's a pogrom. But what they won't tell you is, like in Europe, like last year, they were talking about how they were getting beat up at a soccer game. It's a pogrom, oh no. But what they won't tell you is they're harassing a bunch of Moroccan taxi drivers and waving the flag, the Israeli flag, and ridiculing them and talking shit and being dickheads, drunk as fuck, being a nuisance. So they got their asses kicked. But after they got their asses kicked, they didn't want to tell you why they got their asses kicked. They'll tell you on October 7th, 1,200 Israelis were slaughtered, and they put babies in ovens and beheaded babies, and there were mass grapes and all this other shit. They'll tell you all the sensational shit, but they won't tell you about the 100 years damn near of war. They won't tell you about the illegal occupation. They won't tell you about the blockades. They won't tell you about all the Palestinian prisoners that are being held without charge, how they're being occupied by a government that doesn't even give them a right to vote. But they call it democracy. Zionists always start their argument at October 7th, every single time. Or if they go ahead and have this Iran debate, they say, oh, well, the Iranians did not adhere to the IAEA inspections. And to that, you always respond, well, it's because we didn't adhere to our agreement on the JCPOA first. Simple as that. But they never tell you guys. They just give you guys the result, but they never tell you how we got to that result. And this is why I destroy Zionists. Because unlike them, I don't start history at October 7, 2023. I start from fucking 1917. I start with the fucking Balfour Declaration. I start with how the British government promised to the Rothschilds that they would turn mandatory British Palestine, because that's what it used to be called, into a homeland for the Jews named Israel. And how they made that how the Brits also made that promise to the Arabs. Hey, you can have this land, help us beat the fucking Ottoman Empire. And after the fall of the Ottoman Empire, after World War I, basically, the Brits were left in a weird spot. Ah, shit. We kind of promised this land to like the Arabs and the Jews. What do? Those fucking Brits, they turned into fucking Goku, bro. They got the fuck up out of there. They relinquished that land and they just let the Palestinians and the fucking Israelis fight over it. And then another very popular Zionist talking point is, oh, well, we had a partition plan in 1948 and the Palestinians never want to fucking agree. You want to know why? Because roughly, the Israelis were like, what? Maybe they own 7% of the land, roughly? That they actually purchased themselves, that they actually owned? Right? And they were a minority of the population, but they wanted about 56% of the land. And not only did they want 56% of the land, they wanted the land that was the most soil rich, best for farming and agriculture, with waterways and everything else. And they wanted all the fucking shitty land to go to the Palestinians. How would you feel if some motherfuckers came to your house, you invited them in, you go on vacation for a week, you come back, all your furniture's moved, they moved into your bedroom, took your shit out, everything is switched around. You're like, wait, what the fuck? Oh, yeah. What's up, bro? Welcome home. Well, not really. You're in the garage now. What? What do you mean I'm in the garage? Yeah, you're in the garage now. Fuck that. And you fight him. But the dude is armed, and he whoops your ass. Then he secludes you to the fucking garage. What are you going to do? You're going to keep fighting, right? You're going to keep fighting and get your fucking house back, right? My friends, that is the Palestinian plight summed up for y'all. That's basically what it is. And then they try to tell you, after they whoop your ass and they send you to the garage, okay. Wait, Vay, let's do a deal. I'll give you the bathroom and the guest room and the garage. No, I want the whole house. This is my house. What the fuck? How you getting the master bedroom and the pool and the jacuzzi and the whole wing of the house? No. Bro, this ain't even yours. Yeah, well, that's the best we can do. That's the best we can do. Nigga, you will fight too. Get the fuck out of here. I'm tired of people saying like, oh, the Palestinians are savages and they don't want to agree to peace deals. Nigga, it's not your land. It's their land. You came in, you stole it through force, and then you try to go ahead and negotiate a fucking deal, because that's what that 1948 partition plan was. We get over 50% of the land, and the land that you get fucking sucks. No farm-worthy, agricultural-rich lands. You get all the sparse fucking territory, a.k.a., to the house analogy, you got the fucking garage and the fucking guest bedroom. Meanwhile, this nigga's chilling, spinning dreidels in the master bedroom with the backyard and the view and all that shit. Tell me you wouldn't fucking fight too. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm tired of these fucking Zionists like lying and obfuscating real history. That's one of their biggest talking points. Oh, well, we gave the Palestinians the ability to negotiate. They never want to take a deal. Yeah, because the deal sucks. Anyone that read the deal knows that no one would accept that. And that's what they do. When they do ceasefires, when they do plans, whatever, it's always a poison pill within it. First, let's fast forward. So first, it started in 1948 with their fucking retarded-ass partition plan that didn't work, right? Now, let's fast forward to today's age. Steve Witkoff, the envoy, also one of them, negotiate on behalf of Trump, hardcore Zionists. First, he tells the Iranians, yo, let's come to a deal. Let's iron something out close to the Obama deal. Cool, let's negotiate. They have 5 rounds of talks. First, he says, all right, guys, we understand that you guys want to enrich and you want to maintain your nuclear program. No problem. Just don't enrich to a level where it's weapons grade and make nukes on us. Okay, we can do that. Awesome. Fast forward. Witkoff comes back. Okay, so I went back and, yeah, you can't enrich uranium at all. What? Yeah, you can't enrich uranium at all. But how about this? How about you enrich uranium for a little bit in country, and then we kind of figure it out where, like, the Saudis will have a part of the process done for you, and then maybe Qatar. Like, basically, we start involving some other countries in. So, like, the whole process is kind of overseen. Okay, the Iranians, we don't like it, but you know what? Let's sit on it and go through. Cool, we'll think about it, right? We can maybe manage that where we enrich for a little bit, then the Saudis get involved, Qatar, some mutuals, and we kind of make sure that, we can still enrich uranium, but maybe it won't all be in Iran. All right, let's go from there. Cool. Fast forward. Witkoff comes back, 3rd round. Hey, I know we had that agreement, like, first it was like you can enrich, just not weapons grade, then it's like you can't enrich at all, and then we can go ahead and maybe get the Saudis involved. Yeah, you can't even enrich with the Saudis involved, bro. What? I thought we had a fucking agreement. Yeah, the Israelis, how they are, Netanyahu, he's a little, what I'm saying, bro? Not much we can do. All right, whatever, bro. Let's come back next week and figure something out. We'll whatever, right? Cool. Fast forward again. Next round of talks. Witkoff shows up. Hey, good news. We can go ahead and do the Saudi thing. The Saudis are in. We can do it. You can go ahead and enrich uranium. Multiple countries involved, so it's kind of oversight. Everyone's safe and happy. Cool. All right, awesome. Let's do it. Oh, yeah, just one more thing. Iranians. Oh, what is it now? You guys got to give up your ballistic missile program. What? We got to give up our ballistic missile? Yeah. I kind of went back to Washington, Netanyahu, he's a little, well, first it was this, now it's, yo, Steve, this is how we defend ourselves, bro. We don't got an Air Force. We barely got any real submarines. Bro, you know how much money we've dumped into this fucking ballistic missile program? It's the only thing that keeps us safe from the Israelis. Yeah, I know, but, So wait, let me get this straight. First you tell us we can enrich uranium, just got to do it at a civilian level. We agree. Then you say that, nah, you guys can't enrich at all, but you know what? You can enrich with the Saudis involved. Okay. Then, now you're telling me we can't even have ballistic missiles anymore? Yeah. So you want us to abandon our nuclear program altogether and then not even have missiles to defend ourselves? Yeah. And this is what no one fucking tells you guys. So in other words, the United States, alongside the Israelis, kept moving the fucking goalposts and changing what they wanted from the Iranians. This isn't me just sitting here like, guys, look, I'm being objective here, all right? I don't give a fuck about Iran. I'm not Iranian. I'm not a Shiite fucking Muslim. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. But the truth is the truth. And it's amazing to me how in American media and these stupid Zionists don't tell you that when Steve Witkoff went to fucking negotiate with the Iranians 4, 5, 6 times, he kept moving the fucking goalpost. The Iranians have crippling fucking sanctions and want to get rid of these sanctions so they can bring their economy back up. So they're gonna fucking cooperate, right? It was us that kept fucking moving the goalpost, telling them that they can enrich. Then we tell them, no, you can't enrich. Then we're going to go ahead and have you guys enrich in another country. Then now we're saying, no, you can't. Oh, now you got to give up your ballistic missile program. So basically, you want them to be defenseless. And then Netanyahu, has the fucking nerve to say, you know what, we need Iran to follow the Libya model. What is the Libya model? The Libya model is basically where you end up getting sodomized in the fucking desert by your own people. Because Gaddafi gave up his nuclear program after he saw Saddam Hussein fall. Gave it up completely. Biggest mistake he could have done. Because after that happened, 10 years later, NATO was fucking bombing his ass and destabilized him and get him the fuck out of here.
Bombakat!
And the Iranians have been watching this the whole time. They've seen the United States and Israel systematically destroy all of their neighbors. So I'm going to ask you guys a fucking question. Now that you guys actually know the facts of what was going on during these fucking talks, because mind you guys, if you don't believe me, the evidence speaks for itself. They met 5 fucking times. If they met 5 times, that clearly means and adds credence to my story of what I'm telling you guys, that they kept changing the fucking goalpost. It's been widely reported and documented. It's just that Western media doesn't want to cover it because they don't want to make the Americans look like fucking dumbasses or the Israelis. But it was never about diplomacy. It was about buying time to bomb them. Netanyahu made the decision to bomb Iran back in fucking March. It's coming out now, finally. Now that we got 2020 hindsight, we've pretty much figured out that this diplomacy, these 5 rounds of talks, it was all to buy time for them to allow for the Israeli military, the Mossad assets, and our B-2 bombers with the fucking GBU-52s or whatever the fuck it was to get ready to bomb the fuck out these guys. So let me ask you guys a fucking question now. Dream world. You're the fucking Ayatollah. You're Ali Khamenei. What are you doing? Are you going to go ahead and negotiate with the Americans and the Israelis now at this point? Give me 1 in the chat if yes, 2 if it's a fuck no. If you were the leader of Iran right now, would you negotiate with the United States and the Israelis? 1 if it's a yes, 2 if it's a fuck no. Now that you guys know all the fucking pertinent facts that Western media has done, pertinent facts that Western media has kept from you motherfuckers. And it's amazing to me how so few fucking political commentators have talked about this. Another fun fact, Steve Witkoff would meet with the Mossad after every fucking meeting with the Iranians.
Fatality.
I wonder why. Now we know why. Because there were assets behind enemy lines in Israel. Because it's all coming out now, chat, FYI. It's all coming out now. There you go. So, again, I don't mean to go on a crazy rant here, but this guy's not telling you guys the full story. For him to sit there and say, oh, well, the Iranians didn't let the IAEA inspect their nuclear facilities. Nigga, nobody would. After that fucking monologue I just delivered to you guys about what the fuck is going on, would you let the IAEA come in and inspect your nuclear facilities when you know that you're not going to get the sanctions taken off? Get the fuck out of here, bro.